Volatility is your friend. It gives you a lot of opportunities.
I like that.
Be on the right side of volatility.
Hi, good morning, viewers, and welcome to episode 5 of Unscripted in Conversation with Eastspring Investments. I've got a really interesting episode lined up with one of my colleagues. I'm a big fan of hers, 𝗂𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗧. She's part of the team that's responsible for our multi-asset portfolio. So let's go and have a chat and talk everything multi-asset. So 𝗂𝗶𝘀, thanks so much for being on the show. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Fantastic. Well, look, we're super proud of our multi-asset team. You're such an important colleague and responsible for managing over 160 billion in AUM for us on our multi-asset desk. Let's talk a little bit about, let's set the scene first, right? So tons of things happening, confluence of factors. We're talking about AI-led rallies, cross currents in markets on rate cycles and everything around that. What is the case for multi-asset today in this environment?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Salman, markets are no longer only driven by earnings. You've got policy shifts, you've got technological advances, geopolitical, especially in the Trump 2.0 era. So I feel multi-asset portfolios give you the flexibility to be where you need to be as the landscape changes. So they're very powerful in that respect. So for instance, if you have a debate around emerging markets or developed markets, equities, then multi-asset portfolios have the ability and the versatility to adapt where the strongest stories are and where the best value exists. So that's really the big case. When you speak about the AI-led rallies and the theme around AI, it's not just about picking AI stocks. What we're trying to do in the multi-asset space especially is you're trying to find the smartest angle. So whether it's the AI infrastructures, whether it's the early adopters, where do we think is the best value? And the multi-asset portfolio can shift in that direction. So from that perspective, because multi-asset portfolios can risk up, risk down, depending on how the macro landscape changes, they are a core building block, I believe, for investors' portfolios.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. And that's something that I think we advocate all the time. So from setting the scene, let's come down to expertise. You've just talked about that, right? And in this environment, with everything going on, let's talk a little bit about how do you and the team think about asset allocation? How you think about, in an agile way, making sure that you're taking advantage of markets?
So I would say there are two key aspects. The first is we always focus on the return to volatility ratio. And what I mean by that is being in assets and investments where you get the highest return for the lowest risk. And so your risk-adjusted return is the highest. And this is not traditional that, bonds delivered the lowest volatility always, because we've seen how quickly that can change. So for instance, Indian equities used to be a very volatile equity market, but is now, this year especially, is pretty low volatility. US investment grade bonds, they are low volatility, but the spreads have compressed so much that the return to volatility ratio has reduced as well. So I would say return to volatility definitely is a key anchor. Apart from that, diversification. So especially since 2020, when COVID hit, we have realized that just investing based on data only is not sufficient. And you need to have diversification across different types of investing. So for instance, we've got our systematic investment process, which is indeed very data-driven. But we also have a fundamental data investment process, which is more to capture all the themes that you spoke about, whether it's geopolitics, whether it's AI-led rallies, etc. So that's more fundamental in nature. And then given the volatility we've seen over the last couple of years, even investments into options. Basically, you're trying to get convex upside for minimal risk possible. And sometimes the markets does present that opportunity. So I would say high return to volatility ratio and diversification across strategies probably is the way that we try to build our portfolio to make them resilient over multiple cycles.
Okay, great. Look, very clear. Sounds super exciting. Let's also talk about our edge, right? As Eastspring, you manage a large desk and a substantial portfolio size in multi-asset. What's Eastspring's unique edge on multi-asset?
Yeah, so I would say we have been managing multi-asset portfolios for Prudential for more than 25 years. that means the investment process has matured over so many cycles.
Amazing.
That the deep expertise that portfolio managers and the team have gained over different episodes, I guess, macro episodes, has made the investment process super robust.
Right.
Which I think is definitely an edge that I would call for Eastspring. Apart from that, I think we have a very core belief around risk management.
Yes.
And, we always hear about how we generate alpha and portfolio managers talking about alpha generation. But risk management, we believe, is not something that can be bolted on the top, but it needs to be built into the portfolio.
Interesting.
And by what I mean by that is that we don't think that we can really time risk-off episodes. They happen, policymakers say something overnight and then basically the market has reacted negatively the next morning. So we have a systematic risk management framework which covers you to the downside and gives you a safety net.
Interesting.
Which then allows portfolio managers and us to take alpha opportunities and take risk whenever the opportunity arises.
Okay.
So I would say that's quite unique to Eastspring because most of the times we do see that we try to time risk management and when you want to buy protection, because it is expensive.
Of course.
But we truly believe that it needs to be built into the portfolio and not just bolted on top.
Absolutely. And look how compelling, right? 2.5 decades of experience. And then just the focus on risk and how we implement risk management. I think those two are compelling. We always end these episodes with a punchline. Lots of investors are looking at multi-asset. It's a large asset class in itself in terms of investors' portfolios. What's the punchline for us, Nupur, and for the viewers as they think about multi-asset portfolios?
So as we head into 2026, since we're towards the end of the year, I think there's a lot of events next year where things are going to be volatile.
Sure.
So from my perspective, volatility is your friend. It gives you a lot of opportunities.
I like that.
Be on the right side of volatility, and it's going to be an excellent year.
Wow, fantastic. Love it. Look, it's so good to have you on. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about this going forward as well. Thanks for joining me this morning, Nupur. Really good challenge. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.